Why are people so mean and why is that so good for your purpose, especially if you're a CEO and you're running a business? So, as you guys are joining this morning, I just want to say hello to you. I am Shanda Sumpter. I own a company called Hardcore Business. Every morning at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, I jump on. Typically, you guys on Instagram, I'm typically only on Facebook, but every now and then I join in on Instagram as well. So, hey, you guys, good morning, good morning, good morning. We have a ton of people joining on Facebook this morning. Hi, Carla Perea. Hello. As you guys are joining on Instagram, say hello so I can see you. Awesome. So, this morning, hey, Alex Arriaga. Hi, Journey. Hi, Sloan, Tanya, Suzanne. So, it's so funny. So, I've had this calling recently to really dig into scripture a little bit more. I keep seeing people speaking at churches and conferences and things like that, especially around money. And I guess I could say that I have not been overly impressed with the, it's the best way I could say it. I don't think they've cracked the money code. I guess that's what I could say. Hi from Atlanta. I don't think they've cracked the money code. And there's nothing that drives me more crazy than to watch people get up on stages and talk about wealth and creating wealth, and then they actually haven't cracked the money code. So this morning and for the last couple of years, I've actually been reading a ton of scripture. And it's so funny because, and I'll get into that for a second, but it's so funny how as you're reading scripture, you start to see how certain things in spirituality and certain things in people's language, like Richard Branson or people who are really successful, when you actually watch them talk, you can actually see the clues of these really interesting scriptures that are written about creating wealth, creating what they call harvest. But what I wanted to talk to you about first today is yesterday I did I'm looking on my computer right now. I did basically a free training for a technology company. And I did the free training, and when I did the free training, they were actually sending me the chat. And when I was looking at the chat, first of all, it was a really great group of people. But when I was looking at the chat afterwards, I noticed, like at the beginning when I was talking, there was people being extraordinarily mean. They were saying things like, you know, like, what are you selling? I know that you're setting this up to basically take every dollar I have, and just like really brutal things. Like and the reason why I'm sharing this with you is important. Just so you know, I got into the training literally in about probably 4 minutes. Somebody was like, would you just get on with the training? So this sounds really great, but like, how do I use this? But there was some other choice things that were said after that. Where is it? There's a few nice ones. But anyway, my point is there were some like really, really mean, I don't want to sit here and go through it all, but there was some really, really mean, negative comments that people were making. And as I was reading it afterwards, I was saying to myself, God, I feel like I've arrived. And here's what I mean by that. It's like, I'll never forget listening to Brene Brown talk about, or Wayne Dyer talk about when, like, the comments that are written on the bottom of their videos. I remember going on Facebook once, and when Wayne Dyer, anybody a fan of Wayne Dyer, just say, yeah, he rocks. I remember going on a video on Wayne Dyer's page on Facebook like years ago, and there was like these absolute haters. They were posting things like, get some original stuff, man, and just like some really mean things. And I don't know if you've ever followed Wayne Dyer, but I single-handedly have heard more people in my life talk about how he's transformed their life than somebody saying that they absolutely hate them. In fact, there's one woman that I know that worked with Wayne Dyer, and personally I think she's extraordinarily judgmental, was saying how he's really just such a jerk behind the scenes. Well, Wayne Dyer talked about the fact that he was a jerk behind the scenes many times in his life, how he cheated on his wife and how he paid for that. And my point in sharing all this with you is that really, really, really look to create haters. like really, really look to be so opinionated to create haters. Like Wayne Dyer regurgitated everybody's information. He went and studied the Tao Te Ching, and then he would share with us his debrief of the Tao Te Ching, right? Like he gave all of his stuff away, all of his money, his house to his assistant. I think he was like in his 60s when I think he was, I want to say 65, but don't quote me on that. My point is like, could you imagine if you were the type of person who trusted creating wealth based on scripture, so much so that you actually gave all your money away, gave all your shoes away? Oprah had Wayne Dyer on because when he did this in his life, because she was like, I can't believe you even gave your shoes away. And he's like, yeah, it was like really getting into the Tao, which is the oldest biblical text that was ever written. And I actually named my first company Tao Companies because my vision, Tao means the way, and I wanted to be a company that created the way for people. And my point in sharing all of this with you is that, you know, Wayne Dyer was scrutinized all the time. Jesus was scrutinized all the time. In fact, he died on the cross, right? If you look at any great leader on this planet, they have people online that are yelling and screaming at them and telling them they're full of you know what. So my point is that, is your point strong enough, right? Like, do you have a strong enough point? I'm going through something right now with another company that's worried about me opening up in this city a personal development training. And it's like, come on, you guys. First and foremost, leaders, come together and bridge together and work together. Work together with people who are exactly in your field and go shoulder to shoulder with them and work with them. You will do more business, you will make more money, you will impact. The whole point in making a difference in your industry is to not be in competition with the people that are actually in your industry. It's actually to create partnership. Do you know how many people in my industry I promote? Tons, because we're up to the same game, making you rich, right? Making you rich. I'm tired of these conversations out in the world where people are like, you know what, we're here to make a good change in the world, and we're here to, you know, like I'm here to help make you money, and then I sit there and not promote or not have room in the industry for other people helping you do the same thing. I would be crazy to think that we can't teach the same subject with a different personality type and get more impact in the world. Now, here's the next thing I want to share with you. If you're not making statements like that absolutely piss people off, you honestly are lying to the public. Because I know you're saying them inside your head. I know that your point of view is very, very strong. And the thing is that only your close circle of friends know what your point of view is. Only your close circle of friends actually, and if you're getting this right now, just hit some hearts or some thumbs up so that I can see you. I know that most people I've met, actually pretty much all people I've met, when you get them behind closed doors, they have a lot to say. The challenge is that when you get in front of a video or you get on a live, you don't want to tell the truth. You want to tell what sounds good. And I get it. However, that will get you maybe to $1 million in life. And by the way, I'm very well aware that that's great. But if you want to break the I guess, veil to absolute freedom, because $1 million you become less profitable, right? If you actually want to break the veil to absolute freedom, if you don't just want to make a couple $1,000s a month, if you don't want to just, you know, and hopefully have a lofty goal to go over 7 figures, right? But if you really want to become an influencer on this planet, you need to be more than an influencer with just your immediate clients. You need to have the world hear your voice. And that's not giving interesting advice online. That's becoming polarizing, meaning that's becoming so strong about your point of view that you have haters, people who literally sit there and judge you and tell you that you're too opinionated or that you're too kind or that you're whatever. My point is that you want people to judge you. Do you not think that, gosh, I mean, I can't think of any leader. I mean, if you think of leaders, just go ahead and post them on the threads, right? Like, I can't think of any leader that didn't have a strong opposition of people who absolutely disagreed with them. I have raving fans, people who follow me everywhere, and we are like linked arms for life, and we're going to make a big difference in the world together. And then I have people who can't stand me, who think that I am like way too strong or way too opinionated or not open enough or whatever. But my point is that that's what you want, you guys. So first and foremost, if you're a raving fan of someone, you know, you'll know if you're a raving fan because if they talk shit about that person, you will absolutely come to defend them. You won't allow your mind to be swayed, right? If you are a raving hater, you're very strong in your mindset. I mean, is there someone that you watch? Like I have someone that I can think of right now that I watch, and she's actually in my industry, and I watch her, and everything she does drives me crazy. I mean, I can actually like humbly say she's brilliant, but everything she does drives me crazy. She has millions of fans online, and I hate the way she does her makeup. I hate her false nails. I hate the way when she talks, her mouth does something weird. I'm being really straight and honest with you guys. I know you've got somebody like this, right? Like everything they do, there's like a little bit of a rub, but you can't help but to just kind of see, well, what are they doing now? Like Tony Robbins has this, right? You have a group of personal development people who all think that Tony Robbins sucks. Meanwhile, Date with Destiny is pretty much the same thing as Landmark or ALA or Choice Center, MIT. It's all very similar stuff, right? Like it's like they're doing breakthrough stuff. I'm talking to somebody this week about doing breakthrough stuff. My point is like this, like there's people who drive you crazy for a reason. They're really freaking good at what they do. They've polarized the audience. So, you know, if you want to get on Oprah or you want to actually like explode in the marketplace, be so loud that everybody hears what you're saying. Like be so loud in the industry that people go, thank you for opening a space for me to be loud. And then be okay with the fact that people are going to hate you. You guys, there's probably nothing I teach in business that can't be Googled online. I'm dead serious. There's probably nothing I teach in business that can't be Googled online. Why would I ever say that? Because it's true. We're all teaching the same shit out there in the world. We're all teaching it, right? But for some reason, people think that they need to hoard or hide or not support people. And that's bullshit. You know how much money you're going to make? Partner with everybody in your industry that is doing exactly what you're doing. Suzanne Evans is one of my strongest competitors. She's also one of my closest friends. I love that woman. Some of you might love her, or you don't know her, or you hate her guts. My mom cannot stand the way Suzanne Evans talks. Can't stand it. Every time she opens her mouth, she's like, you know what I mean? Great. Great. That means she's polarized the audience. Suzanne swears. She's loud. She's obnoxious. But that is Suzanne behind scenes and in front of scenes. She's actually congruent. She's not on the stage talking a big game and then behind the scenes worried about competition. She's actually promoting me. I promote her. Our clients go back and forth. We get on each other's stages. We often talk about the fact that some people don't want us to sponsor on their stages because they're afraid of the fact that our messaging is too close. Bullshit. Stop with that. Those are the people who are still limited. When leaps and bounds, most of us that are partnering together are growing in leaps and bounds. We're making multiple millions of dollars a year, going into 8 figures. Many of us are in 8 figures, and we don't see competition. We only see alliances. Did you know that billionaires, many billionaires, actually create products to continue to help the other person get ahead? They get it. I think that the more money you make, there's this space of unity that comes together. And there's less people at the top, and it keeps getting thinner and thinner and thinner as you go up. At least that's been my experience. And the crazy thing is most of the people up here all know each other. The billionaires hang out together. I know that because I have a couple friends who are billionaires. And they support each other. And they don't just support each other with their friendships. They actually go out of their way to create things inside their companies that actually support the other person's company growing. My point is that stop thinking competition. Start thinking about transforming your industry and partnering with the top people. I teach my clients how to do influencer list builds. I've been teaching this for almost 7 years, probably 6 years, right? I believe this through and through to my core. And every time I see an opportunity where an incredible person is afraid to either give too much because they're afraid somebody will not buy from them, I want to cut that cancer out of their thought process. Or when I see somebody get limited on the fact that they don't want to put somebody on their stage because they teach what it is that they teach, I want to cut that cancer out. When I see somebody worried about somebody opening up a coffee shop right down the street, do you think Starbucks is worried about somebody opening up a coffee shop down the street? No. Actually, in Dana Point, California, there is my favorite little mom and pop coffee shop, a freaking lineup down the street. Starbucks is literally, I'm not kidding you, probably 40 steps away. I mean, their driveways collide, and both of their driveways are overflowing with business. They serve the same thing. They just serve it a little differently. Do you not think that people who are waiting for the mom and pop coffee every now and then go over to Starbucks? Yes. Yes. They might have had a bad experience over at the mom and pop the week before, and so they're going to abandon ship and go over to Starbucks and say shitty things about the mom and pop coffee shop. Who cares? They weren't a raving fan. I think this type of business actually creates better business, because Starbucks and the mom and pop organization actually become better internally with their staff, their coffee, their service, all of that, because they're right next to each other. But at the end of the day, the people that are driving to work in the morning and want their coffee are really grateful that they have a choice. And the marketplace in the community gets bigger because it gets more service, right? So have you ever thought about like where you're buying your home? And you look at where you're buying your home, and I don't know about you, but Whole Foods just moved out of Encinitas. I actually just lost respect for Encinitas because I was like, I love Whole Foods. I like to shop at Whole Foods. And I said to Ash, I was like, I don't know if I want to buy a beachfront home there anymore. All because Whole Foods isn't there. Now, if there was a Whole Foods and a Jimbo's and maybe even another healthy place for me to be able to go get my groceries, then I would want to move to the community. My point is, you guys, is partner with people in your industry and get online and talk about the bold things that you're thinking behind the scenes, right? When something fires you up or pisses you off, you need to speak about it publicly. You need to speak about it to your email list. You need to speak about it on your Facebook Lives. You need to speak about it on your Instagram. And you need to create a raving fan base and a raving pissed off base. My point is that that's what's going to make you stand out. And you know what? At the end of the day, everybody who's pissed off at you, just keep loving them up. Keep loving them up and keep helping people up the ladder. And at the end of the day, if you're a good person, what happens is you will be at the top, and you will deserve to be at the top, and you can influence good business and good life. All right. So was that supportive for you guys? Was that helpful for you? Can you see a way that you could actually use that in your business and in your industry to be able to make a bigger impact, to be able to make more money, to be able to, just be a good person in your industry? There's so many spiritual people who are talking about, expansion, and everything happens for you and not against you. And that, they give you such great advice, but then behind the scenes, they're falling apart in their own life when challenges come up and they're emotionally triggered. And the point is it's not about not getting emotionally triggered. It's about moving through that and doing the right thing based on the advice that you give. Okay, Samantha, good morning. Alora, yes, I get this absolute freedom and influence. Yes. Celine, yes, go for scarcity to abundance mindset. And there's no more than enough. You know what? I have never, you know what was a big eye opener for me? When I stopped thinking in limitations, I started making millions. When I really continued to stop thinking in any sort of even time limitations, then I started making multiple millions. So, again, I think that, it takes an act of faith. I mean, it really takes an act of faith. I coach this to my clients all the time. I mean, I have 3 clients right now that I'm trying to teach to just be generous even with their staff and their teams and stop nickel and diming things, right? And it's a really, know that I know it is a really hard thing to work yourself through, because fear is strong. I mean, it really is strong. But in my head, I feel like that's the devil that I'm fighting on people's shoulders to really, there is no business model that I ever put together that isn't set up first to serve the people and then second to serve my partners. And I'm always over and above supporting and promoting other people's work, whether it's my complete competitors. I mean, I'm probably one. I mean, by the way, there was one year I was Suzanne Evans' highest enroller. I mean, I teach what she teaches. You know what I mean? Yeah, sure, she teaches speaking from the stage, but so do I. You know what I mean? So do I. And, yeah, you get it. I hope you get it. I mean, I think people get it until it triggers you. And then when it triggers you, I think people forget about the things that they preach in the world. Margaret, it's personality. I connect with you, not Suzanne. I got it. Because her loud personality makes me nervous. Great. But I respect her work and I would probably love hanging out with her at a party. Yeah, I totally get it. But do you see what I'm saying? Because we're real online, right? Because we're real and we're honest about it, then you don't end up in her training or in my training and having a rude awakening and hating where you're at, right? There's some people who are highly unorganized. I know a company right now, even in my city, I know a company that is highly unorganized in my city. And there's a lot of things that drive me nuts about the organization. However, they do incredible work, right? So if you're someone who that doesn't make a difference for you and it doesn't bother you, it won't bother you. If you're somebody who is a really high-level business owner, it will drive you nuts because you don't have time to sit on calls for 2 hours. You want to get to the point. You know what I mean? But then you get what I'm saying. So it depends. You got to find your home. And you don't find your home and people can't find their home with you unless you're really honest about what you believe and what you value, right? For many, many years, I didn't value complete structure. Now I value massive structure. Every ounce of my day is scheduled on my calendar. In fact, if my assistant makes a mistake on my calendar, it completely screws me up. There's nothing flown by the seat of my pants. My whole life is organized. And some people don't like that. Why would she send her assistant to book a scheduling call with me? I remember being that person. When somebody would send me a scheduling link or send me their assistant to book a call with me, I'd be like, really? But that's because I didn't get it. I didn't understand that I can't manage that part of my life now. I have to entrust that to somebody else. So there's tons of judgment out there, and that's great. It's there for a reason. It's there to, there's a lot of ways I can go with this, but it actually is there for a reason. Don't let people undermine what you like and you don't like. Trust yourself. You know what you like. You know what you don't like. Get stronger in that, right? There's nothing worse than allowing yourself to be influenced to believe something that you actually don't believe and you're being convinced. Trust yourself. Trust yourself and speak about it online like crazy and be okay with people not liking you. Be okay with it. In fact, it's a must if you want to be a top influencer. It's a must. On Instagram here, hi. Competition in my field makes me upset. I choose to be a massage therapist that only competes with myself. I love that. I love that, right? A great example. You go into a spa and you have your choice of multiple massage therapists. Why are there massage therapists that are overbooked and people will wait for weeks, right? If you actually, if competition was real, you couldn't have a spa with multiple different therapists in it. Just think about this for a second. Because I know you could use the excuse to say, well, it's one entity. Yes, but why can they all thrive in there if they're all good? they actually will be a busier spa if everybody's good in the neighborhood. You get what I'm saying? Like, they'll actually draw more to the spa, to the city, if everybody's good in there. So here's what your job is. Your job is to identify the top influencers in your marketplace and go actually do work with them. Actually put them on your stages, promote them to your email list. Do you know I have friends right now who became top influencers because they actually partnered and promoted the same stuff they were teaching to their email list with people who were way better than teaching it than them. And they got the leg up. They got the leg up. So I just want to break this in the marketplace because there's such limited thinking around this. And I'm telling you, shit, you will make so much more money. And here's the truth. I believe God will bless you when you are so authentic that you actually merge with people who are doing the exact work you're doing. When you actually get online and you promote people and not worry about your clients moving over to them, that you will actually be blessed because now you're not saying the right words, you're being the right person. You're being the right stand for what you believe in the world. Okay, guys, I am going to go get my blood drawn now for my next level of fertility. So wish me luck. All right, you guys, God bless. I hope you're doing great. And I will see you on Coffee with Shanda. FYI, I think, I don't have it in front of me. This week, I'm pretty sure it's going to be either tomorrow or Friday. I'm going to have Craig Ballantyne on again who wrote the book, A Perfect Day Formula. Here's why. What he's noticing with my client base is that they are doing too much. They are too busy. And the reason why they are losing their ability to break through the next level is actually because they are way too busy. So my point is that you guys on Instagram, I won't be able to feed this on Instagram, but if you guys want to join us on the Heartcore, all one word, Heartcore Business Facebook page, tomorrow and Friday, Craig Ballantyne will be on. I'm pretty sure it's going to be tomorrow, but he's going to be on at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow talking to you about your actual calendars and your work schedule. So if that's valuable to you and you actually need this, I'll tune back in with me tomorrow morning. All right, you guys. God bless. I will talk to you later. I'll come back and I'll look at the thread throughout the day. Mwah.